Your Honor, this is Bethany Stevens. I'm the dad's attorney. I just wanted you to know I'm driving to federal court, so I'm not going to have my video on if that's okay with you.
That's fine. That would be kind of scary if you were trying to video and drive.
Yes, sir. And if TDC does connect, may I have a breakout room with my client for just a minute?
I think your client indicated to the prison that he did not want to participate today.
Okay, well then I'm here.
Okay. Are you headed to federal court in Amarillo?
Yes, sir.
Are you appearing in front of Judge Kazmarek or Judge Reno?
It's always, well, this time it's Judge Kazmarek. I love him.
Oh,
Some people
really?
don't, but I think he's wonderful.
Oh, well, good. He's certainly gotten his share of publicity.
I know, right?
Are we on YouTube?
Yes.
I keep my
He
mouth
can't do
shut.
anything to me, so I won't put you
Well,
guys
I'm
in a
just
bad
wondering
position.
if I can chime in on the conversation or not, and I will not.
I've not had any experience with him at all. I mean, I don't even know. I don't think I've met him yet, so I don't have any opinions one way or the other. All I know is what I read in the papers, right?
Well, I found him to be very fair. And what I love is he's very, I mean, all the federal judges are great. All of the state judges are great. But he's so
Okay,
respectful to the attorneys in front of their clients, which I extremely appreciate.
well, that's nice. I know my former prosecutor in Randall County is over there now with the federal prosecutors, and he thinks the world of him, I think. So, and I know Josh is a good judge of character, so that tells me something.
Yeah, I don't always agree with any judge's rulings 100% of the time, but as long as with Judge Kazmarek and Judge Messer and things like that, as long as I look and go, yeah, I should have lost that one. Yeah, it's a good fit. And that's what Judge Kazmarek, I don't always win, but I understand if I lose why I lost, and it's the right decision.
Well, good. Well, let's see. I was waiting for Todd to get on. It looks like he's on successfully now.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
What looked like your deal was having some trouble connecting.
It was connected. I just wasn't. It takes an extra step for me to push to get it on, so I just hadn't got that step yet.
You got to go outside and kick the mule a couple of times to.
That's right.
Okay, well, I think we've got everybody we need. Todd, I don't know if you heard this, but evidently Rachel told me that the prison contacted us and let us know that the father, Mr. Frost, had chosen not to participate. So I've let Bethany know that.
He's made that choice a couple of times now, Judge. So.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but we'll respect that. And well, let me call here on a permanency review before a final order. And is the department ready?
Department's ready to proceed, Your Honor.
And the court has appointed Ms. Sapien as attorney for the mother. And Bailey, are you ready?
I am, Judge, and my client is present.
Very good. And Ms. Stevens has already let us know she's online. Her client has chosen not to participate from prison today. But Bethany, otherwise, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready and present.
Very good. And the court has previously appointed Ms. Seal as the attorney ad litem. And Sage, are you ready?
Yes, Judge, ready.
And am I correct? We do not have a CASA worker?
I believe that we do, Judge. I think Miss Hall, Jamie Hall, is present, or I at least see her name.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Judge, I'm here. I'm traveling as well, so I'll just be off video.
Oh, okay. I didn't have you listed, Jamie. So, and are you ready to proceed on behalf of CASA?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and proceed. And Todd, are we going to have an update?
Judge,
Yes.
I am so sorry to interrupt. Miss Jamie, was Bubba able to get a hold of you the other day?
Which day?
I want to say it was Wednesday, but he seemed really frantic and wouldn't tell me why, but he said he was having to get a hold of you.
Yes. Yeah, he did. It wasn't anything. It was about his Christmas gifts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he wouldn't tell me what it was, and I was like, I'll try, Bubba. But okay, I just wanted to check while I knew you were here.
Yes, ma'am, he did.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, good. Well, and Todd, are we going to have then an update from our caseworker?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Novak would be able to give us an update at this time.
Okay, great. Yolanda, if you kind of update us, please.
Sure. So Daniel was recently hospitalized again, November 20th through November 27th at West Oaks. They did change up his meds, so we're just waiting to see how those take effect. But he is still struggling with aggressive behaviors, threatening self-harm statements. Current placement is still willing to work with him at this point, but they're cautiously just waiting to see how he is after being released back after being hospitalized, sir.
And at any time we need to go off YouTube, let me know. I don't want to discuss anything too personal, but what triggered this most recent hospitalization? Was it threats of self-harm?
Yes, I'm not sure what started the incident, but he had some kind of attack, or the picture they sent me looked like a thumbtack, but they stated it was a screw or a nail or something in his mouth, and he was threatening to swallow it. He did spit it out, and then after he spit it out, he just continually got aggressive and started throwing things, tearing up, overturning tables, and making threats against their staff. And they took him in to be evaluated that day, and he was admitted, sir.
Okay. And so, and I'm, as a substitute today, just kind of, all I have is the report that I read, but in terms of his school placement and that kind of things, when he goes to a hospital like that, does that interrupt, I assume, his normal schedule? And
It does. It should be excused. He shouldn't be counted off for missing those days because of the hospitalization, but I'm sure it has set him behind.
okay. And what grade is he? He's in junior high, is that right? Or middle school, I guess we call it now?
Yeah, middle school. He's 7th grade, sir.
Okay. And do we know, absent these interruptions he's had, how's he doing on his school?
I have not gotten a school report recently, so I don't know. But the last time I knew, he was doing average in school.
Okay. And the facility that he's currently at is in Harris County in Houston?
Correct.
And do they do the schooling there in-house, or does he go to a middle school and with other kids?
Yes, he goes to public school, sir.
Okay. And then in terms of there at the facility he's currently at, what types of treatments do they do there? I mean, I'm assuming there are additional things he's doing other than just going to school.
He's doing individual counseling twice a week and group counseling once a week.
And have you had any recent reports for his progress in any of those?
I have not, sir.
Do they periodically send you any kind of updates?
They do. He's recently was moved to this facility at the beginning of November, so he hasn't quite been there a month. So sometimes it takes them a little bit to get me. And then he was hospitalized, so there was almost a week of him not being there. But yes, they do send me stuff when they
Okay, so he's
after
really just
after the session. Sorry.
kind of struggling to get on his feet in his new placement and get a routine going.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In terms of the parental progress, I noted that Miss White had recently moved, and it looked like she had been sent some resources to maybe go have a visit with her son. Do you know if she was able to accomplish that?
She tried it. When he was being moved to the new placement, um, placement requested that he be there 2 weeks before he had a face-to-face visit with mom. So that didn't happen, and then he got hospitalized. So it's just been pushed back. Mom is still willing, and we've sent um, a gift card to help her get there and stuff, but it hasn't taken place yet. And since he just got released, I'm not sure. I haven't touched base with placement to see if we can move forward with that, or if they wanted to wait and see how he was adjusting after being, released from the hospital. I haven't followed up with them yet, but I will, sir.
Okay.
But mom is still willing to go. We haven't got it in a set date yet.
Okay. And I know there was one of the I guess modalities or services they were going to receive was going to be some family counseling, but that's been delayed, I'm sure, by his hospitalization and his move and that kind of thing. But is that still something we're hoping to get started soon?
Yes, so Mama's receiving counseling with Pace Lawson's agency, and her counselor is willing to do family counseling virtually with her and Daniel. I've had a hard time getting placements to get this scheduled, and since he's moved, like we almost get it scheduled and then he would move, and then he and that's like the last two. So I'm hoping that this placement he will stay and get it moved. But I've had a hard time with the placements. Either they didn't have a counselor or they didn't want to. It's just been frustrating with placements to get them to get this scheduled. But yes, sir, that is still the plan, is to have virtual family therapy with him and mom.
With respect to dad, he's currently incarcerated, and I didn't look. Do you know where it is he's incarcerated?
I believe it's Gatesville.
Okay. And do we know, do they allow any kind of face-to-face, FaceTime, Zoom, that kind of thing, interactions between children and their incarcerated parents?
I don't know for sure. I did see that they've requested that recently, but I'm unsure, sir.
Okay. Do you know what level, if any, of communication Daniel has currently with his dad?
Just letters. His dad sent him a letter in September, and I forwarded it on to him. Daniel hasn't written him back in quite a while, but dad just sparingly writes letters now and then.
Okay. In terms of services available at the TDCJ, I know those are very limited, but has the dad been able to do any kind of classes or anything that we've requested or that he's been able to do?
Not specifically that we've requested, but he has done a life skills class, and he did send me the certificate for that. And he has said that he's on the waiting list for some other classes, but it's hard to communicate with him and know where he is in that process.
Okay. Is our goal still ultimately reunification with mom?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Our goal hasn't changed.
And so it looked like she's done a fantastic job of completing a lot of services. I think and any delays are not her fault, but we're still hoping for her to accomplish that family counseling. Is it also my understanding we're still wanting to see some stability with employment?
Employment and housing. Right now, they're currently living with her dad. And employment, she's reported that she's working in Durant, Oklahoma, but she hasn't sent me a check stub or anything like that, but she says she is working, sir.
I'm an Okie, so I'll tell you, we pronounce it Durant.
Oh, sorry.
Right, Samantha? It's kind of like
Yes, sir.
Miami, Texas, or but okay. Well, Todd, do you have anything further you'd like to go over with Yolanda?
No, Your Honor, I think she covered it.
Bailey, do you have anything you'd like to visit about?
I just want to say, Yolanda, if you need to maybe get me and possibly Sage and Todd on a call with placement to help facilitate and tell them the importance of those family sessions, I think we'd all be happy to do that.
Thank you so much.
And I don't have anything else.
Bethany, anything you'd like to discuss?
I wanted to update the court. It was briefly mentioned. I'm brand new on this case. This was Dale's client until he got the bench. So I've been substituted in, and I've written to my client, but TDC makes it utterly impossible to have phone calls with your client. Apparently they hate the Constitution. So, we did just get an order signed by Judge Baker for there to be a visit with the child via Zoom or telephone if the Zoom link doesn't work. And the reason we did that was because the ad litem Sage had told me that there seems to be a little bit of improvement in the child's behavior when he gets a letter from dad, and that it seems to be in his best interest to have a visit. So I got that order signed. We're going to be working with the prison to set it up. There's a 99% chance that the prison is not going to honor that order because they rarely honor any orders, but we are going to do our best on that.
Okay. Well, and I can, having been a judge for 23 years, I can say amen to how they follow orders. Although, I mean, I will say the librarians in most of those facilities are pretty good about helping you contact somebody when you're a judge and you need to, but it can be frustrating. And we'll continue to stay on top of that. And if we need to get personally involved as the court, we can do that.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Bethany, just in terms of your, well, because you just haven't had any contact with your client, I know that there's really not much of an update there. Sage, with regard to, first of all, do you have any questions of Yolanda? And second of all, the court would be interested in your assessment of Daniel's best interest currently.
Yes, Judge. No questions for Yolanda. I would like to update the court. We did send that signed order over to the law librarian this morning. She has actually been really cooperative in trying to help us explore something that seems to be a little new to them as well as us, just, trying to set up this visit. So we're hoping to hear back from her in the next few days as to what that looks like with that order. As far as Daniel's placement, I do think that it's safe and appropriate in his best interest. I tried to contact him yesterday after his release from West Oaks on Monday, was unsuccessful. I don't know if coming home from school was running a little late than usual, but I was not able to catch him yesterday, so I've not spoken with him since his release.
But your last contact with him would have been before the hospitalization?
Yes, sir. And at that point, I didn't have any concerns with his placement.
Mom had asked you about contacting him, and he evidently had some concern about getting his Christmas presents.
I think that was with Miss Hall with CASA. Yes, sir.
Oh, with CASA. Okay. That was with,
Yes, sir.
I'll ask Jamie about that then.
Okay.
But as far as your last contact with him, you felt like he was doing pretty well?
Yes, sir. Yeah, no concerns at that point.
Did he seem to be adjusting to the new placement pretty well?
As considering all things, yes, sir.
Yeah, this poor young man's been moved around a lot, hadn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's got to be frustrating to him and frustrating to the family.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Jamie, I've jumped the gun there. Tell me about your recent conversation with Daniel.
So I spoke with him the day before he went into the hospital, and he has requested some blue light up shoes for Christmas, and I ordered them. He had called to verify that I did get them ordered. What he was calling me about was he knows that him and I wear the same size shoe, and he did not want me to put those shoes on and crease them before I sent them on to him. So I promised him I would not. We had a really good conversation. He had a very specific Christmas list, and we talked about that, went over it. At that time, he was doing well. He he had a really, really rough start with this new placement, which is kind of odd for him. He usually, is what they say, the honeymoon phase, the first week or two, and then behaviors kind of start ramping up. He, from day one, has had some issues coming into placement. But I did speak with placement. I've spoke with several of the workers there, and they said that once they changed his safety plan and, he moved to a room where he couldn't run, he moved, they just changed up some of his safety plan issues. And so they were hoping that that would help with some of the behaviors and help with some of the issues they were having. I did speak with placement this morning. She said that he was released last night. No news is good news, no incident reports, and he is at school today. So, Daniel's a great kid. Every time we're with him, we have the best time. We have the best conversations. He has such a big heart. He does do well when he has communication with dad and communication with mom. So I'm really, really looking forward to mom getting to go see him, because I really think that's going to do him some good. It's been close to a year since he has physically got to see his mother, hug his mother, anything. So as a mother, I think that will do a lot for him and Samantha both. I am on board for the family therapy. I think that will be great. And one of my biggest concerns with Daniel always is his medications. Every time I get on and look at him, he changes a lot, changes dosages a lot. And while I am no medical expert, it does worry me that his change so often and what that is doing to his body and his, if that could be affecting his behavior. So that's something that I try to stay on top of and try to, monitor. But I do know that the hospital just changed maybe up some of his meds. So I'll be, monitoring that. But other than that, I have no issues with placement. It seems to be really well. And hopefully he can, get some family therapy, get a visit with mom, and get back on the right track.
It looks like Jamie and Sage both, I'd like for y'all to weigh in on this. It looks like the department's requesting that the court grant an extension in order so we can, catch up and comply with some things. Do either of y'all have any reservations about that, or do you feel like that would be in Daniel's best interest?
I have no reservation about that, Judge. I think that would be in his best interest. I'd like to be able to see him stay in a placement long enough that we can get these services started and really see the effect of what those might bring, including the contact with dad. So no objection to that, Your Honor.
Jamie, are you okay?
Yes, I have no reservations. I think that's a great idea. I agree with everything Sage said. I think if we can keep him in a place for an amount of time that he can get the help he needs, that's been the big issue, is getting moved so much and getting his new services set up. So hopefully he can stay where he is and get the help and the therapy that he needs.
Samantha, you're on with us, and do you have anything you'd like to add in terms of just contact with Daniel, or do you have a trip planned yet, or are you kind of waiting to hear from the facility?
We're definitely waiting, to get the green light from them before we try planning again and end up going through all the chaos with work. But yes, most definitely, as soon as I get the green light, I'm headed down there. I miss the living daylights out of my baby, but I definitely think he needs to stay in placement, and wait, and hopefully these services do start working for him so he can come home and stay home.
Where is Leonard? I'm not familiar with Leonard.
It is about an hour and a half away from Dallas.
Okay. Is it kind of between Durant and Dallas, or?
Give or take, yes, sir.
Okay. What's your current plan? Are you going to be staying there for a while, or are you still intending to go back to Oklahoma?
Still intending to go back to Oklahoma, yes, sir.
Do you have a schedule for that yet as to when you're going to maybe try that?
As soon as we get Christmas out of the way.
Okay, so relatively soon.
Yes, sir.
What's your living situation there? Do you have your own place, or do you live with family?
Right now we're currently staying with my dad and his wife.
And that's in Leonard?
Yes, sir.
In Durant, where do you stay?
We were staying with my husband's best friend in order to get him medical help for his diabetes. And that really didn't fall through with the best friend's, I guess, fiance, you can call her. So we found it in our family's best interest that we just relocate for a little bit.
If you go back, what will be your housing situation? Do you know yet?
We're trying to find an apartment.
Okay. And then when you go back, do you have a job waiting on you?
Yes, sir.
Where do you work there in Durant?
Sonic.
Oh, okay. And is that where your husband, is he from there originally?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. What's the tie? Are there some ties there then to the Durant area?
No, sir. That's where his friend is living in that area. So we moved in with him to, like I said, try to get help with Medicaid and get my husband insurance. And just kind of start off life, I guess, with the new straight.
Okay. Well, is there any chance you could stay there in the Leonard area where you've got some family support and kind of start your own life there?
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's always that opportunity. We try to look into the future, but at the same time, try not to go past a couple of days.
Right. And one of the things I know that the department's wanting to see from you is some stability there on the home front. So we know Daniel's kind of got an established home and his own space and that kind of thing when he
Of
gets
course.
released to you. So I would just encourage you to kind of, take a good look at what your opportunities are. And it's so important to have a support system. And if your dad and his family are there and kind of a good support, maybe that's a good place for y'all to put down roots.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you'd like us to know about what's going on with you or with Daniel?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Do you know anything really about his contact with his dad?
The last time that I talked to him about him, he was wanting to beat the living daylights out of him. And I talked him down out of that, told him, I was like, no, Bubba, it's like he's in there doing his thing, trying to serve his time. I said, he's got his punishments. You need to worry about trying to keep yourself out of trouble. So I'm not 100% sure if he is willing to talk to his dad again. He's always been teeter-totter back and forth, even before placement started. So that's just kind of, for me, one of the things that is a spur of the moment, whether he'd actually want to or not.
Okay. If you don't mind, just give me a brief history. When would have been the last time Daniel and his father would have lived under the same roof together?
Daniel was a week old.
Okay. So there's a lot of water under that bridge then.
Yes. Very, very violent past. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's understandable. Todd, anything else the department would like to present?
No, Your Honor.
Is it my understanding y'all are asking the court to grant an extension, continue the department as TMC and find that the current placement is appropriate and should continue?
That's what we're asking for, Your Honor. We believe that due to Daniel's behaviors and the lack of success we've had in finding a long-term placement, that we have some extenuating circumstances that would allow us to maintain temporary managing conservatorship.
Okay, very good. Bailey, anything else you'd like to present to the court?
No, Judge, and I have no objection.
Okay, and Bethany, anything else on your behalf?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and Sage, anything else as the ad litem?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, well, based upon that and based on the recommendations of the ad litem and the CASA worker, I do find that it would be in Daniel's best interest to grant an extension, allow he and the family some additional time to work some additional services due to the interruptions caused by the hospitalizations and the change in his housing. I do find that department should continue to be named as temporary managing conservator. I do find that his current placement is appropriate in his best interest, and I will order that placement continue, order that the family do complete that family counseling, encourage mom to get some stable housing and employment, and we'll try to facilitate more contact with dad if we can accomplish that. And we have another hearing set for March the 27th at 9 a.m. And then the final is set for May the 22nd, 2024. Samantha, you're doing a great job, and I'm not saying this to be discouraging. I'm required by law to tell the parents that just failure to comply with the service plan can result in being denied access to the child and also ultimately termination. But you're doing a fantastic job of doing what the department's asking you to do. I know this is a really difficult situation with Daniel's behaviors, and I admire you for hanging in there as a mom and loving him, and continue to do that. And hopefully we'll get some of this kind of stabilized and get him back home with you. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. My babies are the reason why I do everything. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I'd be.
Well, I understand that. That's a wonderful way to look at life. So everybody have a good holiday. I appreciate y'all's appearance, and Judge Baker will see you next time.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.